The special meeting of January 13th of Planning and Zoning to order. Roll call, please.
Lou Fiore.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
Virginia Higley, here. John Petronella.
Here.
Tony DePace, absent. Frank Alimo.
Here.
Vinnie Grillo. Nelson Correa, Karen Majmadar, and Christian D'Antonio.
Okay, I'd like everyone to,
Karan's not there, right?
he's right here. He
There he
just
is.
walked
Oh,
in.
He
okay,
just
Karan's there, okay, thank you.
He
Okay.
just walked in.
And we'll all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Okay. Fire evacuation announcement. In case of an emergency, please exit the chambers through the doors in the rear or to the left. Go down the stairs and away from the building. Okay? All right. New members on board. Ginny, you got my list.
Oh, sorry. Do I take?
I'd like to welcome the new members.
Oh,
Lou Fiore, and unfortunately, Tony's not here yet, and Christian D'Antonio. Yes, welcome. Look forward to having you here. Okay, discussion and brief training on the rules and procedures. Lori, you're on.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm
Happy
going to
New
try
Year,
to
Lord.
turn my... Is there any reverberation right now?
no.
No, but
Good.
you're real loud. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, maybe I could turn me down. I don't know how to do that.
No, that's okay. Just keep going.
That's fine.
Okay.
The room's empty.
I
The
won't
room's
yell.
empty. So.
How's that? All
Okay.
right, so I just wanted to give a brief review to those that have been here and a brief lesson to those that are new. Welcome, Lou and Christian. Christian, I haven't met you, but I hope to soon. I'll be in next week. So the Planning and Zoning Commission really is the first step to economic development. So I want you to realize that when developers are looking to develop in a town, the first thing they look at is the regulations and procedures. They want them to be easy and quickly interpreted. They want it to be fair and consistent. They want expeditious timing, and they want things to be predictable. If those things aren't there, they are very reluctant to even entertain coming and developing into the town. So if the PZC isn't acting, if we're not up and know our stuff, then, we might have a disadvantage from having that. So zoning regulations, they are written in permissive tone. So they list the uses that are permitted in a zone with design guidelines, bulk and area, and with facts and coverage and things of that nature. If there is a use that might be similar and isn't listed, we can make that determination with the commission. Like if something comes in that's not listed, you can make the determination that it might be a similar use. So you have basically 4 types of applications that you'll review. Site plans. This is permitted by right. So basically, if site plan meets all of the minimum requirements of the regulations, then realistically they should be approved. If there is concern and denial, there better be some really good reasons, because state statutes state that site plan is by right application. The next one, so the other one with that is there is no public hearing involved with that. The special permit is one that requires a public hearing, and these are basically just applications that that are uses that would normally be permitted, but there are maybe certain sites where it just wouldn't be apropos. So this allows for a little bit stricter review and permits the commission to have the ability to put more restrictions on it through conditions. So just remember one thing: once the public hearing is closed, no more information may be put into the record, and the applicant may no longer speak or answer questions. So before you close that public hearing, make sure you've asked all the questions that you might want to hear from the applicant. Okay? You could read a lot of this. I'm not going to go through everything verbatim, but there are certain requirements, timelines that we have to follow, from date of receipt, how quickly we need to hold a public hearing, how much time we have to make that decision. So we call it the 65-35-65. So hearing must open within 65 days, close within 35, and action taken within 65 days. Text amendments. So that's basically just a change of the zoning regulations themselves, and that is a public hearing process as well. Typically, we have to refer the text amendment to the Capital Region Council of Government, which is our regional planning agency. They make sure that it doesn't conflict with any of the state plan of conservation and development requirements. And then there's the zone change, where we're actually taking another public hearing process where you're actually changing the zone of a parcel. That, of course, also requires a public hearing. And then most zoning compliance is actually done through staff, but if it becomes an issue, legal issue, the zoning officer will come for planning and zoning and seek their approval to push it forward towards court or wherever. Your role as the planning commission, excuse me, sorry, I'm getting over a nasty cold. The subdivision regulations, so planning commission oversees subdivision regulations and re-subdivisions and 824 referral. Subdivision is the division of land into 3 or more parcels. That is also permitted by right. If it meets all the requirements of the subdivision regulations, that should be approved. And then if you don't take action within certain timeframes, it's automatically approved. You do have the right to waive subdivision requirements by a 3/4 vote. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. So a re-subdivision basically is a subdivision of a piece of property that's already been part of a subdivision, and that requires a public hearing, and that is not by right. And then a lot of people have heard the 824 referral, but that's basically from Connecticut State Statute, Section 824, and this basically asks the Planning Commission to make a referral as to whether the town should be buying a property, selling a property, or improving it, or otherwise. So it's, parks, schools, utilities, etc. Council can't override your vote by 2/3 vote on their part. And then the most important thing, well, not the most important, but a very important job you have is the plan of conservation and development. This is required statutorily every 10 years to be updated. We're in the middle of our plan of conservation and development update right now. The POCD basically is the roadmap to our future 10 years. What do we want to see? What are our goals and desires for the next 10 years? So it's actually a pretty exciting document to be a part of, and we're going to be looking for people to be on it. I'm sure you're all going to be raising your hand. And but like I say, we're about halfway through it, and you can read through all of the different tasks and drafts that we have on our it's on the planning department website. And then all of you also get rolled into the Aquifer Protection Agency, and we're not going to discuss that at all tonight. We don't have time. So, just running the meeting, just a reminder, the chair is in control. All questions should be directed through the chair, and you should not really speak unless you're recognized by the chair. Regular members are automatically seated at a meeting. If a regular member is absent, the chair will seat an alternate, and the alternates may not vote unless seated. They can ask questions. They can be part of the, deliberations during the applicant's presentation. They can ask questions, but once they decide to make a motion to make a decision, or if there's a public hearing, the public hearing is closed. At that point, the sitting alternates may not speak anymore, not on the application. And then the timeframes, I kind of went over that. We take care of that more than you guys, but I just want you to realize that it's something that we need to be looking at always. There's always the possibility of the applicant can request an extension up to 65 days total. But again, when it comes to that, you could rely on staff to guide the commission. Or
we seat the alternates right after the roll call when we know a regular member is not there, or do we wait for the public hearings to start?
They should be seated for the meeting at right after roll call.
After roll call. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah. Motions. So the staff does provide motions for the application in their staff reports. That is just guidance for the commission, so you have something to go off of. You have the right to add conditions, delete conditions, modify, and we always make, just because it's just good practice, always make the motion in the affirmative. Now, typically, the Planning and Zoning Commission has, I believe, the secretary make a motion, and then it's seconded, and then there's discussion. So that's kind of how that works. And decisions. Remember, you're basing the decision on the record. All of the things that have been discussed and presented during the applicant's presentation, all of the material that has been presented, and is in the record that we've given you, and we always give a master packet online. We don't give you everything because otherwise we probably wouldn't be able to afford all the trees that we kill. But just remember, so it's based on what you've heard during the meeting, testimony, and the items placed on the record. Always remember freedom of information. Pretty much everything is subject to freedom of information except for items discussed in executive session. We pretty much assume as staff that anything we say, do, write, or even take notes on is subject to somebody asking for the record of it. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Quorum is the simple majority of the commission. You've got 10 commissioners, 7 are regular and 3 are alternates. A simple majority of 7 is 4, so that is your quorum. You must have at least 4 people to hold a meeting. And it's always better if you have more. Ex parte communication. This is, just a reminder for those who have been in this forever. Just remember, and for those newbies, when an application is pending for the commission, you should not be discussing this with the other commissioners or the public, theoretically, not even your family. It should be strictly discussion during the meeting process. This is general guidance for site plans, however, is very, very strongly suggested that you do not discuss this with anybody, especially when there's a public hearing pending. So the paper discusses, all the times that you shouldn't be talking about it. Conflict of interest. So some of you might have a relative that's the applicant, or a spouse or somebody that you find a good friend or whatever, or maybe you've got business dealings with the people. That appears to be that you might have a conflict of interest and want to make sure that this friend or whoever gets their application approved. So you don't want ever to have that appearance. So if that comes up, you probably should recuse yourself. And recusal means that you must leave the room. You can't be sitting in the audience or still sitting up at the dais. You have to leave the room during the proceeding. Okay. Again, excuse me. Bias and predetermination. If you've said to somebody that you do not want this application to be approved, you should recuse yourself. That is predetermination, and you don't ever want anybody to say, well, I heard him say that he would never approve this, or, she said that this is a horrible application. You should just keep that to yourself. Wait for the record, and then you can make a good based judgment on the application. The record, everything you say, excuse me. Okay, that's better. Everything you say is on the record. Everything if you say it, it's for the record. If it goes to court, the transcripts are verbatim. So think before you speak as to how it's coming out, how it might be misperceived or anything of that nature. Just think about how you phrase your thoughts. And lastly, the Administrative Review Team, or ART, we hold these meetings for pre-development applications. Developers come in and say, we're thinking of doing X, Y, and Z, and we get all of the people in the town, the police, fire, planning, building, engineering, WPC, health district. Everybody comes in and gives their 2 cents as to what's going to be required. So remember that we've done that for all the larger applications, pretty much for, months ahead of time, up to a year ahead of time. We've already been talking to these developers. So just know that there's been a lot of forethought before this application even gets before you. So, and then the other thing is on the bottom, and you can email this to you, see it's a live digital thing. The land use training modules, that's from Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, and there's some really good guidance in there. It's a little bit slow, I will say, because I watched a couple of them, but there is some good information. So if you get time, try to watch some of those. And the other thing is I don't know if any of the new members are familiar with the scale. Where's my scale? The scale. So this is called an engineer's scale. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it has increments of 1 inch. And if you're not familiar with that, give Ben or I a call, and we'll teach you how to use it. And that'll help you read plans a lot easier. Ben, do you have any insight or wonderful comments? Or are we good?
I think we're good. I just, the timelines for the site plan applications, the special permits, you went over that already. And then just if there's any regulations that can be waived or modified, they'll be in the regulations. If it doesn't specify that it can be, then it can't be. And then that requires a variance unless it says that a variance is not, cannot be varied. So, anything that's, as far as example, certain landscaping buffers, parking, certain things are up to the commission's determination, depending on use. So just little things like that. But if it doesn't allow for the waiver, then the commission can't waiver it. I think that's all.
Yeah, actually, that brings up another point, that you've got to remember that we base everything on statute and regulations, but there's also case law. And things that were permitted before, like right now, non-conforming uses have changed based on state law, state case law. And so we always have to consider that, and staff will advise you as well as we can, and we'll use the legal team to assist us if needed. Any questions?
I have one, Lori.
Yeah.
For a no vote, if a member should vote no, you need to say why you voted no, correct?
That is correct.
Any no vote,
Yes.
you have to say why. Your particular vote is no.
Right. And again, so the motion is made in the affirmative. Even if the person making the motion wants to deny it, the motion is made in the affirmative. And again, it's just good practice so there's no confusion. Motion to approve application, blah, blah, blah. And then you go through the roll call and somebody says, and so you say, approve, deny. So if you don't want to approve it, you just say deny. Or against, or however you want to say it.
But you don't have to give your reasons in a record why you
You
deny
should
it?
give the reasons if you're denying it, yes.
That's what I was getting to, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other
Anyone
thing
else?
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to mention, Lori, I just want to emphasize again, just to remind everybody, and I'm not going to say why, I'm just going to read it so that everybody remembers this, and you guys are experienced, I probably don't need to do this, but I'm going to anyways. The commission may not deny an application if it meets the requirements. I think we all know that. A site plan does not require a public hearing. Again, the key word there is doesn't require one. And the public are not allowed to speak at that type of a public hearing if you decide to do one. I just wanted to emphasize that again. I'm sure I didn't have to, but I just wanted to.
Well, if you hold a public hearing, you have to let the public speak. So if you hold
Yeah.
one, you
Oh, yeah,
have
I'm
to.
sorry, yes, I read that backwards.
okay.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If we don't, they're
It's
not allowed
just-
to speak. Yeah, I read that backwards, I
Yeah.
apologize.
It's just that if you have that public hearing and it's for a site plan,
Yeah,
it's hard to even take those comments into consideration because if the site plan meets the minimum requirements, then it should be approved.
yep.
So that's where that comes in.
So a site plan, so a site plan, you said does not require a public hearing.
It does not require
Right.
one. There is a
We
section
should-
in our regulations, 9.10.3, I think that's what it was, where it says that the PZC may hold a public hearing if there's public interest. But case law says that even if you hold that public hearing, if that application meets the minimum requirements, you have to approve it.
So, as you know, we did that in the last couple of years, and I think it gave people false hope. And I think it just stirred up a hornet's nest when we did that. So
Yeah.
if we ever do it again, we should really think about
I
it before
personally-
we did it.
Yeah, I personally think that probably should be taken out of the regulations and maybe modify some other things to make people have the ability. So we could talk about that at another time.
It wasn't a pleasant experience for me, anyway.
For anybody, I think, including the people trying to speak at the public hearing,
Right.
so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Lori. I just had a question about the training. I think there's probably a lot more information on the attachment online, the PDF. But can you share a little more information about what that consists of? And does it count towards the 4-hour requirement with the state law?
First of all, it will count towards the 4-hour requirement, which of course we will go into at another time again. I mean, there's like full day seminars on these things. So there's a lot to learn, but we just wanted to give you the real basics. This training session was created by CCM because of Public Act 2129, and that requires the commission training. So it goes through what the it goes through map reading, and it also goes through the procedures and statutes. So, and what your jurisdiction is. So it's a good broad brush for you, and especially if you're new to land use, it's kind of like learning a new language. So it's certainly a good presentation. Like I say, I think it's a little bit slow, but it's certainly got some great information in it. And by the way, welcome, Christian, and nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you.
So, do we have anybody from IT there?
Cindy is
Did.
here.
She was here, but then she
left.
left. Want me to go see if I can find her? I'll go see if I can find her.
I can go see if I
Okay.
can snag her down. All right.
Lori, do we, and
Yeah.
I don't know, is this training of the tablets, do we have to have that during the meeting, or?
No, we don't. We could end this training, and then Cindy could just work with you with the tablets.
Oh, good, because I don't want anybody to say how dumb I am when it comes to this stuff.
Well, I'll be perfectly frank, and I've never used an Apple product in my life, so I have no idea how to use them.
Good.
So
Neither do
I will probably work with Cindy in the future just so I can figure out how to use it, so in case you guys need some assistance in the future. But I don't have one myself,
All right,
so.
then I'll entertain a motion.
I move we close this session, this training session.
Can I ask her one more question?
Sure.
Lori, one more question,
Yeah.
please? Yeah, so we've talked about this a couple of times. We were supposed to get IDs so we can visit property. And I don't know if it was because of the COVID issue and not getting our photo taken or whatever it was, but that's still on the table. I was wondering if there's any new information about that. Our personal
You
IDs.
certainly, if you want, I could set up a meeting, or we could just give you directions as to how to get your own. I've been told that you can just send your picture, and they'll do it. So if you send us a picture of you, but I'll get back to you on that. And because I'm not sure whether they want, like just your head or I'm not sure how the picture needs to be.
Yeah,
So
so just
we'll
wanted-
find out the
okay.
prem and get back to you on that.
Because we
And
do-
I think you just all have to go in on your own.
We do need to have some kind of identification if we go on private property, correct? There you go. If somebody should.
You should.
Yeah,
You should.
not our personal,
It
but
certainly is
something that
helpful.
we're a town official or something from the town.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
I think that it's smart to have it. It certainly is helpful. So we'll get those.
Okay, thank you. Lou, I was just asking her about
Badges.
the RID badges, so if we go visit an application's land. We just been working on it, and we have, so Laura's going to follow up.
Because it's funny, I did go out by myself, looked at one of them, and I drove by like 2 times, and sure enough, somebody must have thought I might have been Kasich. They came out the front
right,
door.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I said, no, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
We
a
don't want
motion
that.
to adjourn? I need a second.
Second, motion to adjourn, second. What, was Lou all set or- for training? Yeah. Okay,
All in favor?
all right.
Aye. We're adjourned.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Planning and Zoning meeting. Today is Thursday, January 13th, 2022. It's 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fire evacuation announcement. In the event of a fire or an emergency, there are exits in the back of the chambers. And to my left in the audience is right. Exit through the doors, go down the stairs, and into the parking lot. Roll call.
Lou Fiore. Here. Linda DeGray, here. Jenny Higley.
Here.
John Petronella.
Here.
Tony DePace.
Here.
Frank Alimo.
Here.
Vinnie Grillo, absent. Nelson Correa, absent. Karam Majumar.
Kiran Majmudar, thank you. Here.
And Christian D'Antonio. Okay. And
8 members present, 2 absent.
yes,
Okay. The first order of business is the election of the chairman. Do I have a nomination for the chairman?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Louis Fiore. He's got the background as former deputy mayor on the town council. He's also our register of voters, and he's very organized, and I think he'll do a great job.
I'd like to second that.
Frank,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Alimo, second. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Do I have a motion to close the nominations?
So moved.
A second? A second?
second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of closing? Raise your
Aye.
hand. Aye. All right. Roll call.
Lou Fiore.
I guess I'll vote for myself, yes.
Okay. Linda DeGray, 4. Jenny Higley,
4.
John Petronella,
4.
Tony DePace,
Lou Fiore.
Frank Alimo,
4.
Karan Majumar.
Maj Mudar.
Please forgive me.
Kiran Majmudar, that's the way it's spelled.
Maj Mudar, yes.
Maj Mudar, okay. Thank you. And Christian D'Antonio,
4.
okay?
All right. Well, congratulations, Mr. Fiore. Now I'm going to move out of my chair and have a good meeting. And congratulations, Mr. Fiore, and everybody that
Thank
is
you.
on the board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciate all of your hard work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for coming
Thank
tonight,
you.
starting this.
Yeah, thank you.
Just give me a second, everyone, just to get my stuff here. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This is an honor and a privilege, and I will have a couple of words to say after we do the rest of the nominations. And again, I want to thank you all for your support, and I look forward to working with you. The chair will now entertain nominations for the first vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'd like to nominate Jenny Higley. She's been our ZEO in the past. She's been on Planning and Zoning and our second vice chair. She does a great job.
Thank you. Is there a second, please?
Second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Tony DePace. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved?
So moved. The second? Thank you, Commissioner Mamchar. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Temporary Secretary, please call the roll.
Lou Fiore,
Ginny Higley.
Linda DeGray, Jenny Higley, Jenny Higley,
4.
John Petronella,
4.
Tony DePace,
Jenny Higley.
Frank Limo,
4.
Karam Majdabar. I'm never going to get this. I apologize
I talked to you
1,000
later.
times. Teach me. And Christian D'Antonio.
4.
Okay?
Thank you. The chair will now entertain, congratulations, Vice Chair Higley. The chair will now entertain motions for second vice chair.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Linda DeGray. She's been our first vice chair for several years. She does a great job and keeps us all on track, very organized.
Thank you. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Majumdar, thank you very much. Are there any other nominations?
I move we close the nominations.
Motion made to move. Is there a second?
Second?
Again, all those in favor?
Aye.
Show of hands, unanimous. Secretary, temporary secretary, please call the roll.
Lou Fiore,
Yes, Linda Gray.
Linda DeGray, yes. Ginny Higley,
4.
John Petronella,
4.
Tony DePace,
4.
Frank Alamo,
4.
Karam,
4.
thank you. Thank you. And Christian D. Antonio,
4.
thank you.
Okay, the chair will now entertain nominations for the secretary of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Anthony DePace as secretary.
Thank you. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Manjar, thank you. Are there any other nominations? Are
I
there any
move
other
we
nominations?
close the nominations.
Motion made to move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chairman DeGray. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Secretary, temporary secretary, please roll call, please.
Lou Fiore,
Tony DePace.
Linda DeGray, 4. Ginny Higley,
4.
John Petronella,
4.
Tony DePace,
Tony DePace.
okay. Frank Alamo,
Tony DePace?
Karam,
4.
thank you. And Christian D. Antonio,
4.
thank you.
Well, thank you. That is the leadership of the Planning and Zoning Commission for this term. Lou Fiore is chairman, Virginia Higley is first vice chair, Linda DeGray is second vice chair, and Tony DePace as secretary. I just had a quick question for Tony because he is doing remote tonight. Tony, are you able to fulfill the roles remotely as secretary tonight, or should we ask the second vice chair to temporarily fill in for you tonight?
If you wouldn't mind having the second vice chair temporarily fill in for me this evening.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. That is why I wanted to ask, get that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I just had one other word before we start the regular meeting. I want to thank everyone again for their support. I think those of you who know me for a long time know how I operate meetings. I see my job here as the chairman. Everything goes through the chairman per se, but my main job is to bring out the best in every one of you. Everything's not going to be run through the chair. I really want participation from everybody. Please don't hold back. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And I know as a commission, we're all going to work well together, and I just look forward to working with all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm always at your beck and call, so please don't hesitate to get a hold of me by phone or email, whatever
Thank you.
suffices.
you're welcome.
Thank you. So now we have the minutes of the, let me get there, December 9th meeting. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the minutes of the December 9th meeting.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion or any additions or subtraction? Oh, yes.
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes.
I may,
Yes.
I'm going to recuse myself from the rest of the meeting, only because new meditation on breakdown,
Okay.
okay?
No,
Have an alternate citizen for me. All right?
okay, no problem, Commissioner DePace. Thank you very much for letting us know that. I kind of anticipated that. I know you're not well, but thank you for joining us
Thank you.
at this point. So before we do the minutes, because right after roll call, I probably went too fast. We
That's all
have
right.
one alternate tonight, and we're going to seat Mr. D'Antano tonight as a voting member tonight, since he is an alternate, and our regular member is not here. All right?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the only other thing I was, before we go to the minutes, on number 4, talks about the review of bylaws
Yes, we're going to do that after the.
after the approval of the minutes, or?
No, let's do that first. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you for
Welcome.
bringing that to my attention.
You're welcome.
Does everybody get a copy of the bylaws, the planning and zoning bylaws, which were an augment really to Robert Rules of Order?
Yep.
I would like to recommend, if I can, is that we table this for the next meeting so that everyone really can kind of take your time and go home and read this. I know some of us have a couple suggestions for some changes. We can discuss those now, or we can wait for the next meeting. I'm at your pleasure on that. But I don't think we need to enact anything tonight, 'cause I think we should go home and, over the next 2 weeks and think about some of this. Would you like to discuss some of the bylaws now, or wait for the next meeting?
I move we table this and discuss it at the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so we're going to table the bylaws review, and that'll show up in old business for the next meeting.
Thank you.
And please be prepared to discuss that at the next meeting, please, all right? It buys us 2 weeks to move along here. Okay, now, I'm sorry, thank you, Commissioner Lima.
You're welcome. You're all right.
I had that circle, too. All right, now we get to the minutes. There was a motion made to accept the minutes, and there was a second, I believe.
Yes.
Is there any discussion or any amendments that need to be made to the minutes? All right. Chris, you and I should abstain from this because we weren't on the planning and zoning at the time. So all those in favor of accepting the minutes, please?
Aye.
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 And there's 2 abstentions. So there's 5 approvals and 2 abstentions.
And to the chairman, because Christian is a new member, that if you do watch the meeting on television, you don't have to abstain from the meeting.
Okay?
Just let us know you,
Great. Go ahead, thank you.
thank you.
All right, so now we're going to move on. I take it there's no town attorney report because there's no town attorney here tonight. We did receive something in the package. He's really not here to talk about, so I don't think we can. Does anyone have any questions on that, or to Ben that maybe he can get back to them? Or Ben, you have something you want to report?
Yeah, there's going to be a special meeting scheduled for 6:30 p.m. for the next planning and zoning meeting.
Okay.
Beforehand for the town attorney's executive session.
Okay. Do you know if that'll be Jim Talberg or do you know if, or be Maria?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be Berea, but
Okay.
I have to double check.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll move on. Take it zoning enforcement report. No zoning enforcement report tonight since Rick's not here, but I do have a question on that, Ben, if I may. The last meeting, I know Rick was here, he had, I think the members got a spreadsheet or some type of report. Would it be possible that the new members get a copy of that spreadsheet? Because that wasn't included in our packet this time.
Okay, we can make it available for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that. All right. Now we're going to get to the public participation. At this point in the meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission welcomes comments, concerns, and opinions related to planning and zoning in Enfield from anyone who is present, provided that no one may discuss any matter of business at this time that is already elsewhere on the agenda, any matter that is part of an open public hearing of the commission, or any matter where a decision of the commission may be pending. Is there anyone who would like to come up and speak in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission tonight? Is there anyone who would like to come up and speak in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission tonight? Oh, yeah. I'll ask 3 times. Is there anyone who would like to come up and speak in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission tonight? No? Thank you. No one wants to come up tonight? So now we have the bond releases. I think staff is going to report on this.
We just have the bond releases for 135 Freshwater Boulevard and 53 Manning Road.
Is there anything you'd like to mention about them, Ben, at all, or emphasize or not emphasize?
No, I just have the paperwork that's in the packet. Just the standard bond release.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is a bond release for basically erosion and sediment controls, correct? It's not for landscape release.
Right.
And that's for both of them, correct?
Yeah, that's for the Freshwater Boulevard and I believe the 53 Manning as well.
Make a motion to approve the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission hereby approves the release of the erosion and sediment control bond
Second.
in the amount of $7,500 for project PH 2988.02 located at 135 Freshwater Boulevard, Enfield, Connecticut, Hartzito Investments LLC.
Motion made by Vice Chairman DeGray, seconded by Vice
Seconded.
Chairman Higley. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we need a roll call on that, or is, no, hands?
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to make a motion to approve the release of the erosion and sediment control bond in the amount of $3,000, the site restoration bond in the amount of $24,300, and the landscape bond in the amount of $9,970 for project PH 2874 located at 53 Manning Road, Enfield, Connecticut, to KBRC Realty LLC.
Second.
Motion made, seconded by Commissioner Petronella. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. And there's no old public hearings. And now we have a new public hearing.
I just want to jump in here. The first new public hearing, 9 Overhill Road, the applicant actually came into our office around 3:45 p.m. today, and that's that handwritten request for an extension that you have in front of you on your desk.
Oh, okay, okay.
So the applicant is asking to be an extension to be granted to revise some things in their application to be heard at the 27th.
So we're just not going to open this one, we're just going to move on from this one.
But you have to grant the extension to open at the January 27th meeting.
I make a motion that we table PH 3021 to our next meeting on January, what is it, 27th?
27.
27th.
27th.
Second.
Second. Motion made by Vice Chairman DeGray, seconded by Vice Chairman Higley. Any discussion?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, this is
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
So, is there a request then for the amount of extension? The amount of time?
Next regular meeting.
Yeah, the amount of time was, the extension was for the next, until the next regular scheduled meeting.
Yeah.
All right, so
14.
we should do either, 15 days or 30 days. I would do just 30 days,
30 days.
Okay.
We make them,
just in case there's a snowstorm or something.
I
Would you
amend
remove-
my motion to extend, to table this request for opening public hearing 3021 for 30 days.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman DeGray, seconded by Vice Chairman Higley. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
All right.
It's unanimous that this PH 3021 be tabled for up to 30 days. I guess now we're off to PH 3022. Temporary Secretary, thank you.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at their regular meeting on Thursday, January 13th, 2022 at 7 o'clock, Town Hall, for public hearing 3022, 21/23 Bailey Road, special use permit application for construction of a two-family dwelling. Richard Zoney, owner applicant, map 109, lot 19 and 20, R-88 zone. Yes, roll call?
Yep.
I had to find my roll. Lou Fiore.
Here.
Linda DeGray, here. Ginny Higley,
Here.
John Petronella,
Here.
Tony DePace,
Absent.
and Frank Alimo,
Here.
Karan Majumar,
Here.
and Christian D'Antonio.
Here.
Will the applicants or the representatives please come on up and identify themselves for the record?
Rick Zanoni.
Could you please make sure the mic is on? Yeah. And you can pull it right up to you. Yeah,
Hit that button there?
there you go. Good.
Yeah, I think it's on. The red
Oh,
light is on.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'm Rick Zanoni, half of the owners over here at 21 Bailey Road. We've always tried to maintain a safe and affordable place for families to live at this property. The building has really exceeded its service life at this point, and it doesn't make sense for us to rebuild in that foundation because of the location of the house to the road. It's only 8 feet off the road, so we've elected to build an entirely new two-family home for the two tenants we have living there right now, with a new septic system that, other than being in an R88 zone, it does meet all the back sets and side sets and all the other, and we're putting in a new septic system. So we're trying to, what's goes with one of my goals too, that I've had for many years, is to leave that property in better shape than I got it. And this is, we finally have the means to do so, and we'd like to do this project for our tenants and for the neighborhood, really.
Is there any questions, Mrs. Zanoni? Yes.
No, I've seen the property. I applaud you for this, for considering your new tenants. But this is, through the chair to the staff, what did the health department say about the new septic system? Were they pleased with it? Mike Corona, did he comment on it? I don't see any comments from him.
It is approved. We do have it's an approved septic system.
The B100, yeah, they do have an approved B100. I don't believe the health department had comments at the time of the staff report was written.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Vice Chairman Higley?
When do you plan on demolishing the existing two-family?
Right.
The existing two-family will be demolished once the new residence is, once we get the CO for new residence. Because
And
there's
you
10
wouldn't, when we vote on it, you wouldn't mind having that as a condition of approval?
I think that's in there somewhere. Yeah, yeah.
No, we haven't done the conditions of
Yeah,
approval yet.
no, not certainly. Yep,
Thank you.
yep. So at the time of, give us a little bit of time for them to
Thank you.
move, but right after the CO, we get the CO for the new building.
Yeah.
Moving shouldn't be a big deal. They're just carrying the stuff, so, if we give a couple of weeks or something after the CO, that would be a reasonable condition. Accept that.
Mr. Chair, I do have a question here. It says in the write-up here, in the proposal, it says demolition of a 3-unit multifamily dwelling unit. Is it currently a 3-unit?
Yes.
Okay, and you're going to build a 2-family?
Yes.
In its place?
Yes. That's
Okay,
correct.
so that would be, I mean, not only is the building going to be a betterment, but the use is actually going to be a betterment to
Yes.
the neighborhood as well. Okay.
Third unit was, we had lived in that unit for many years. We now live up in Beckett, Mass., so we only have 2 tenants there, and that's, I think it's a better fit.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I just had one. When I went out there, just took a look.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I did. Actually
Good,
drove
good.
out there.
Beautiful property.
Yeah, and I couldn't quite figure out, if you look at if you were the present building, is the new building going to be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side?
From the street, it'll be behind and to the right.
To the right, okay, that's what I
And
thought.
behind that shed.
Right behind it, that's what I figured, right behind the shed, okay, or basically where the shed is per se, right in that
Yeah,
area.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Is there any other questions? Is there any other questions, anyone? No, we have to have for public to speak.
Yep.
Is there anyone from the public? Thank you, Mrs. Zanoni. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak about this particular application? Let's ask one more time, just for the record. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak about this application? Okay. We have no questions. Any more? We need to close this? Yeah, is there a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chair, motion to close.
Motion to close with
Second.
Limo and Member Higley, second. Does staff have any questions?
No, I'll just, it was in the staff report and it's on their plans as well that the lots will have to be merged because the new proposed structure is currently over the lot line, so that will have to be done prior to construction.
Okay,
So that's all I have to add.
so make the motion to approve and then we discuss.
Do I have a question to him?
Yep.
Can I ask staff a question?
Yes, please.
So the merger of the 2 parcels will come before us before
No,
this takes place?
no.
The merger of the 2 parcels? Does that have to come-
It's called out on the plans. I mean, you could also make it a condition of the approval as well.
I just didn't know if it needed other action by us.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so somebody has to make a motion to approve or disapprove. and
I
then we-
make a motion to approve public hearing 3022, 21/23 Bailey Road, special use permit application for construction and use of a 2-family dwelling with 26 conditions and an added condition, so it would be 27, to demolish the old building once the CO is received for the new construction.
Second.
seconded by Vice Chairman Higley. Any discussion? Any discussion at all?
I think it'll be a good use. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah,
Who's first?
come on.
Might be a small amendment that after 30 days from CO is obtained, give them a little time to,
Okay, I can add that to a 30-day
Window.
window to demolish the old structure. Mr. Zoni, is that okay with you? Yeah, no, you got to come up here, sir.
I'm also just thinking the logistics of this a little bit because it needs a pre-demolition inspection, and that might bring out some abatements that I got to deal with. So I'm just, you know, I mean, but I'm sure we'd be understanding in that case. Because I can't have the pre-inspection while people are living there because they got to tear into walls and stuff, but they need to do that. But I don't think so, but there might be findings for abatement that we need to deal with, which might delay that. So it'd be nice to have some flexibility if it's delayed because of, hazardous abatements or something like that.
Would 90 days?
I haven't been through this process. It seems like they should, I mean, it's not like a
Okay, why
toxic
don't-
waste dump over here.
I amend that to a 90-day.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, yes,
Just in case,
thank you.
because you
Yep,
never
thank you.
know.
Yep,
All right, you're okay with that then?
yeah, I think that's.
Okay.
So motion's been made and amended for 90 days after CO. I believe it's been seconded.
Yep.
Is there any discussion on the motion as amended? Is everyone comfortable with the direction we're going at this point? Okay. Having said that, motion is made and seconded. I believe we need a roll call vote on this to
Lou
approve.
Fiore,
Approve?
Linda DeGray, 4. Ginny Higley,
4.
John Petronella,
4,
Frank Alamo,
4.
Karam Majumar,
or
Christian D'Antonio.
4.
Okay.
Record should show that it was unanimous. Now we have text amendment. Madam Temporary Secretary, thank you for doing this tonight.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning will hold public hearing at the regular meeting, January 13th, 2022, in the Town Hall for XAZ 3023, text amendment to allow a new regulation for farm breweries, cideries, distilleries, and wineries. Town of Enfield applicant.
Do you believe we need a roll call?
Yes. Lou Fiore,
Here.
Linda DeGray here, Ginny Higley,
Here.
John Petronella,
here,
Frank Limo,
Here,
Karam Majumar,
here,
Christian D'Antonio.
Here.
Well, I guess in this case, the town of Enfield is the applicant, so go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, this is just the proposed text amendment that went to CROG for the proposal of, or the allowing of farm breweries, cideries, wineries, and distilleries. This was discussed previously at prior Planning and Zoning Commission meetings, with the amended section being 4.9. Or the new section being 4.9 to allow for these farm brewery, cidery, distillery, and wineries, and the amendment of section 8.100F for the exemption of food trucks for the distance from brick and mortar restaurant establishments. And this was already a positive referral from CROG. Falls in line with the 2011 POCD.
I see Lori here. Did you want to add something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Basically, this came about from the previous sitting commission. There was some discussion amongst them and some applicants that thought that they would really like to be able to use this. Everybody was very much in favor of this. We went through it at great detail, and as Ben alluded to, we've sent it to the regional planning agency, and they've deemed it appropriate.
Any questions from the commission? I guess I have a couple, and I apologize, everyone. I just have a couple just to be brought up to snuff on this particular application. So when I read this, the proposed text is to exempt food trucks from being able to participate in this type of,
No, actually, it's just the opposite. It's allowing the food trucks to be allowed to operate at any of these properties that have this this proposal approved, whereas they would not be able to do that based on our current food truck regulations.
right?
So it's not that they're exempted, it's just that they don't have to worry about whether they're within so many feet of a brick and mortar restaurant.
Okay.
So it's allowing them to do so.
Does this potentially open up another comment in here that caught my eye, and I'm just wondering if it hopefully doesn't open up the door for others, is the zoning should also expand the definition of farm and agricultural use to allow new kinds of agricultural activities that the market demands. Does this?
The comment from Krog?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a suggestion that we should do that, and it's certainly something that we could look at, because not only are we in the middle of updating our POCD, but we are also going to be updating our zoning regulations cover to cover.
Okay.
So that's a discussion item that we should include.
Okay. So I take it from this, I'm the only one with comments. Everybody else, you guys were working on this prior to me joining the board. So, Chris, do you have a question on this, Chris?
No, it seems like a good opportunity for me.
Okay. I just wanted to get up to snuff. It looks
No,
like you guys are
understood.
working on
Yeah.
this pretty significantly. So I guess we'll just move on at this one. Is staff all set with this?
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak in favor or opposition to this particular public hearing item? I'll ask another time, just to make sure for the record. Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak about this application? Guess not.
I'd like to make a motion to approve XAZ 3022 text amendment to allow a
We
new
have to
regulation.
close the public hearing
Oh,
first.
sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Sorry.
I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Motion made by Vice Chairman Higley, seconded by Vice Chairman DeGray. All those in favor of closing?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
I'm not used to this rule.
It's all right.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve XAZ 3023 text amendment to allow the new regulation for farm breweries, cideries, distilleries, and wineries.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Vice Chairman DeGray, seconded by Vice Chairman Higley. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote.
Lou Fiore,
4?
Linda DeGray, 4. Ginny Higley, 4. John Petronella,
For,
Frank Alamo,
4.
Karam Majumar,
4.
and Christian D'Antonio.
4.
Thank you. Now we have new business, which I don't believe requires a roll call. So we just have the new business, which is staff report on the site plan review of SPR 1880.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to be excused. I'd like to be excused for this application, please.
Okay, absolutely, Commissioner Mamjar. We will call you back when we're done with it. You're going to be out in the hallway?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's the right thing to do.
Now it's going to go.
May I just take 1 second? Thank you. Okay, staff. This is new business.
Anti-castings?
Yeah, if the applicant is here, they can come
Just
forward.
have the applicant come up?
Yeah, for
Will
Yankee
the applicant
casting.
Is the applicant here today? No, nobody's here for the SPR 1880, the 243 Shaker Road? No. So I guess we just table this one?
I know they were notified
Okay.
about the meeting, so via email.
Well, it seems to me that we can discuss this?
Why don't you just table it?
Well, I did have a question, or bring something to light. It says, I mean, the applicant, the proposal here, actually, in the write-up, it actually has in here, to this date, the planning office has not received requests and additional information regarding the proposed silos. So it seems to me we just need to table this until the applicant is ready to come forward. So I'll entertain a motion to table this.
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Higley, seconded by Vice Chairman DeGray to table SPR 1880. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The six remaining members?
I'll go.
Thank you. So that's basically how we do business, unless the applicant is here and they come up and we can discuss it in front of us. Once I do that, I realize it.
Better to have them here
Yeah, yeah.
not to, because you have questions. And staff doesn't have an answer. Works for me. Nope. Nope, there's been missed opportunity. Opportunity. We don't get a second time. I think we thought.
Yes, I think so too.
I think the guy from Bailey Road turned the speaker up and
That's all right.
so if you don't hear him, go home. Bet you that was the speediest recusal you've had.
No walk. No walk for you.
Okay, is there any old business to discuss? Well, we do have a few other businesses to discuss. I'll move on to other business. One is I'd like to move on the liaison appointments that we have from the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'm going to look around everyone. The first one we'll talk about is the CROG liaisons to their monthly meeting, which does conflict with ours, but you know, we might be able to make some movement here so that our representatives can at least go down once or twice a year. I know Commissioner Lima was still interested in being that liaison to that, one of the liaisons to that commission.
I'll continue.
Is there anyone else who would like to be a liaison to the CROG development meetings?
Why don't you put a suggested alternate?
I don't, if an alternate's interested. I don't-
Perhaps an alternate might be interested.
Jenny, aren't you on with me now?
Yeah, but I never got an,
They haven't had any meetings. I've never
Yes,
gotten any.
they have.
I didn't get anything.
we didn't get anything, but I talked to Lori, they had meetings.
I never received any email
They even
notification.
complained because I wasn't going. So,
Well, I didn't receive anything.
Is anyone else interested?
Mr. Chair, we'll throw my name in on that with
All right, John? All right.
Frank.
So Ben can, I'll also follow up in an email to Lori and stuff, but Debbie McCarthy needs to know this because the council has to, I think, approve these. So Commissioner Limo will be planning and zoning liaison to the CROG Regional Group, and Commissioner Petronella. And I'll follow up myself with an email too, but Deb McCarthy's got to get that on her agenda, which probably isn't going to make Tuesday night's meeting, but it'll make the next one anyways after that. We also have a liaison to the Economic Development Commission. So we, definitely would like to have, we definitely need someone to be part of that commission. And I think they meet monthly. I know they used to meet pretty often right next door to where my office is.
I was going to say, what night do they meet?
They usually meet during the daytime.
Oh.
They used to. Now, whether they right, Corinne, they used to.
Yeah, I think they used to, and they keep changing it. The last I remember, it was still in the evening.
So they moved it back to the evening.
Yeah.
Okay. I know they used to meet in the daytime because it used to be right next to my office, so.
Do you know what day of the week?
It's the It's the third Thursday of the month at 6:30. They've been meeting virtually.
I wouldn't mind, unless someone else wants to.
I'm sorry, I believe it's 7 o'clock, not
Mike's not on,
6:30.
Karen.
Okay, Lori.
Karen, your mic's not on.
Yeah, I've been on the commission too long, so therefore, I think Jeannie would be a right person.
All right. So we make a recommendation. We're going to be appointing Vice Chairman Higley to the Economic Development Commission. Ben, I take it you'll get that to the chairman, that also? Then we have one other, the Plan of Conservation Development that's ongoing. Karan, I'm seeing your hand up. Would you like to?
Yeah, I will volunteer for POCD.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That kind of takes me off the hook, so. As a
We can
chairman,
always
I have to
use
go.
another
Wait a minute,
person.
hold on, wait a minute. Karan, hold on, wait a minute. I was just notified by the first vice chair that as the chairman, I have to attend?
Yes.
Or I should attend, Lori? So-
You are the chair.
All right, so can Karan also, yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have one,
And so that has also been virtual at this point. So, and it's recorded, so if you miss a meeting, you certainly can catch up.
yeah, I have been watching some of the YouTubes.
Yep.
Okay, so we, as you know, we do have a forum member on there, and so Karan and myself will be the other liaisons to the, for the last 4 months, to wrap up here of POCD, and I have been catching up on the YouTube presentations, so, and I do know almost everybody who's on that, so. Thank you. Yeah, I got that, plus redistricting. I'm going to be a busy spring for me. Okay, the other thing I'd like to talk about tonight, or at least add to our agenda officially for discussion at the next meeting, and I'm certainly not looking, unless you guys want to start discussing it tonight, but I'm hoping, like our Robert Rules of Order amendments, we need to start discussing about cannabis establishments here in the town of Enfield. So I know we all have the documentation that Lori and staff sent us. We can start that discussion tonight if you like, or we can just kind of table this item and make sure it's an official agenda item in the old business for next meeting.
Yep.
And be prepared to discuss it in nauseam the next meeting. I'm at your pleasure, however you'd like to handle that.
I'd like to suggest tabling it to the next meeting.
Christopher?
So,
I can second that.
John?
I have nothing to talk about right now on that, so that's me.
Next meeting is fine.
I second.
Lori, Lori wanted to add something here?
What did Lori want?
Did you want to?
that's okay. If you want to table it, that's fine. I would just please ask the commissioners to look at it and think about how you want to see things in Enfield. Just remember, we only will get one retail shop and one grow shop. It's based on the population of Enfield, so that's all we'll be eligible for, at least for a few years for now.
Yeah, and
So
plus the
think
lottery.
about, do you want separating distances for, from churches, schools, playgrounds, yada, yada, yada? You want to allow it as it would be any retail? Just kind of think about that and what sort of separating distances, if any, and you don't need to necessarily have any, but if you want them, think about how you want to treat that. So we need to get on this sooner than later because we're sort of behind the times on it.
Yep.
As, things changed with the change of the town council. So we're a little bit behind, that's all.
Yeah, please.
Do have, Laurie, to staff.
Yep.
Do we need to, I've read how most towns have actually postponed making any decisions. Do we? as
With the
a town-
moratorium?
Right, with the moratorium. Thank you, I couldn't think of the word. Do we need to do a moratorium until we can get a better grasp on what we want to do? Since we are in the middle of doing our town zoning ordinances again, it would give us like a breather to think about it. This is a big decision, and there's lots of pros and cons going on in town, so we want to make sure that we do the right thing. So I'm just asking, do
It's-
we,
it's
as
certain-
a board, should a suggestion from you. Should we do a moratorium, 6 months, 3 months, whatever?
You know, we certainly could, but I really don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal. I mean, it sounds, you know, I know that it sounds like it could be some heavy lifting, but quite honestly, the state's going to regulate way more than we will.
Okay,
So,
no, yeah, I mean,
and like I say, we're sort of running out of time. We certainly can, and so maybe that's something we could discuss at the next meeting, what that option is and what it would mean.
no, I'm just throwing that out there,
Yeah.
but I do
It's
know
an option.
that the state is kind of running a little behind on this themselves, so it's going to be a couple of
Yeah.
years.
Well, the first lottery is taking place, if it hasn't already this week, it's taking place shortly. And then the second lottery is supposed to be coming up later on in the year,
I
so.
heard that that's already been
Well,
postponed, so.
we'll
we don't
see.
know.
Well, and we've been contacted by numerous, I'm going to say a handful of cannabis entrepreneurs, I guess.
Okay, no, I'm just, because everything that I've seen, every town has done the moratorium, that's all.
Well, not every town, a lot of towns.
Not every town.
Some towns have opted out.
Right.
So, I mean, out of 169 municipalities, I don't think that many have opted out or had a moratorium,
No, I'm
so.
just asking that.
But
question.
it is absolutely an option.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? So there's been a motion to table. All those in favor of tabling this, so it ends up in old business next month or next meeting? Thank you. Any correspondence? Any commissioners' correspondence? Is there a Director of Development Services report? No?
Well, I was going to ask you for the appointments for the POCD and TIF, but you already did that.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you get the appointments,
I'll
Lori?
get
All-
the TIF.
Oh, actually, no, we didn't do TIF, did
No, you
we?
didn't do TIF.
Yeah. So we still need somebody for TIF now. Frank's already on there, so.
What is, be honest, I don't
I'm sorry, the tax increment financing.
Oh, I didn't realize we had a liaison to that one.
Yeah,
I couldn't-
yeah, so Frank's on it now, so I mean, if that's good to go, then that's great.
Yeah. Anybody had an interest? Frank, you still have an interest, Commissioner Limo?
Yep, we're just
So I
getting
guess-
going on
yeah,
it.
didn't
so-
realize we had a liaison on that one. Thank you. So you have all the rest of the liaisons, Lori? We're all set?
I think so, yep.
Okay.
And I don't really have anything earth-shattering to report.
Okay. Come on. Okay, now we have an administrative approval report. It's basically a staff report, SPR 1879.
Mr. Chair, I need to excuse myself.
Okay.
I thought you were retired.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
No, sir. So you have it, and Commissioner Mojar has recused himself from this discussion. It's always better to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
This is a administrative approval site plan review for a relocation of a handicap parking space and the installation of a generator pad and generator at 157 Moody Road. It's basically a swap of a parking space for a new location for a generator pad, and then they relocated the parking spot to, they have an excess of parking and added the parking space somewhere else on the lot.
Okay. Any questions to the staff on that at all? So it takes no action from us. It's just administrative approval. Just thank you for the information. We'll move on to 19, applications to be received. It's also a staff report.
Yes, we have the site plan review, number 1881 for the property at 2535 Bacon Road, site plan review for a warehouse distribution center. WE 35 Bacon Road LLC owner and applicant, map 94, lot 65 in the I-1 zone. And this would be their official date of receipt for their site plan application.
And what was the official date then?
Official date of receipt would be today,
Today, okay, thank you.
1/13/22.
That's another Win Stanley project.
Yes.
And that's just going to be a site plan review.
Correct.
Do we anticipate that being on the next agenda?
I believe it's at the wetlands agenda for the 18th,
Yep.
so it should, yeah, it can be on the P&Z agenda for the 27th.
For the 27th, okay? And that'll come up as new business, correct?
Yes.
Any questions on that staff report? Nope. All right, is there any unresolved issues? No, I think we'll probably should, before we adjourn.
They must all be here for Wednesday.
Yeah. Marjorie, thank you very much again.
Sorry about that again.
That, no problem. I've been in those situations. I was better to be safe than sorry. Absolutely.
I'd rather, yeah.
Yep. Is there any other discussion or resolved issues anyone would like to discuss? Well, again, I want to thank you all for our first meeting. A few bumps in the road, but I think we'll be fine coming forward. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.